Did you know that one of the biggest explosions in U.S. history wasn't caused by an accident, but by enemy agents right here on American soil? In this video, you'll see how a peaceful night in New Jersey turned into a fiery nightmare, and how this forgotten attack changed America forever. Tell me in the comments, do you think something like this could ever happen again in the U.S.? You've heard of Pearl Harbor, you've heard of 9/11, but decades before either of those tragedies, there was another massive act of destruction, one that most Americans today have never heard of. It was so powerful, it shattered windows in Manhattan, shook the Statue of Liberty, and was felt as far away as Philadelphia. And yet, for years, no one even realized it was an act of war. This is the untold story of the Black Tom explosion of 1916, the secret sabotage that changed American history. It was a warm summer night, July 30th, 1916. The air around Jersey City was heavy with the scent of the harbor. Across the water, the lights of Manhattan shimmered. At Black Tom Island, a small man-made peninsula used for storing munitions, thousands of tons of explosives were stacked and ready for shipment. America was neutral in World War I at the time, but it was selling weapons and ammunition to the Allies, and that made Black Tom a target. At around midnight, dock workers and guards noticed something odd, small fires flickering near the rail cars loaded with shells. Before anyone could react, the world exploded. At 12:30 a.m., a massive blast tore through the night. It was so powerful that people in Baltimore, nearly 200 miles away, thought there had been an earthquake. Windows shattered across New York City. Glass rained down from the Times Square skyscrapers. People were thrown from their beds in Manhattan. The shockwave hit Ellis Island so hard that it injured sleeping immigrants and forced the evacuation of hundreds. And the Statue of Liberty, standing just a few hundred yards away, was hit by flying debris. Her torch arm was damaged, and to this day, no visitor has been allowed inside that arm again. Eyewitnesses said it felt like the end of the world. Flaming debris rained from the sky, trains exploded, and the harbor lit up like a second sun. The explosion destroyed over $20 million worth of weapons, equal to more than $500 million today. And for hours, the city had no idea what had really happened. At first, officials assumed it was an accident. Maybe someone had dropped a match, or a spark had ignited the ammunition. But as investigators dug deeper, strange clues began to surface. German agents had been secretly operating inside the U.S., trying to prevent American-made weapons from reaching their enemies overseas. And Black Tom Island, packed with munitions bound for Britain and France, was their perfect target. It was soon discovered that German saboteurs had slipped into the docks that night and planted explosives among the shipments. Their mission? To send a message and cripple the Allied war effort. But here's the twist. The U.S. government covered it up for years. Why? Because America was still officially neutral, and admitting foreign sabotage could have meant war. By morning, chaos and confusion filled the streets. The damage was immense. Over 2 million pounds of ammunition had exploded. 7 people were dead. Hundreds were injured. And the blast left a crater 100 yards wide. Insurance companies refused to pay, calling it an act of war. The U.S. government quietly began investigating, and decades later, the truth finally came out. In 1939, a U.S.-German mixed claims commission ruled that Imperial Germany was responsible for the explosion, a rare acknowledgement that America had been attacked on its own soil long before World War II. Germany was ordered to pay $50 million in damages, a settlement that wasn't fully paid off until 1979. The Black Tom explosion changed everything. It was the beginning of American counterintelligence, the birth of modern federal security measures. The U.S. began taking sabotage and espionage seriously for the first time. And when the country eventually entered World War I, it did so with eyes wide open. But for the people who lived through it, the memories never faded. Residents of Jersey City remembered how the air turned orange, how glass fell like rain, and how the night sky looked like it had been torn open. Perhaps the most haunting symbol of that night still stands today. The Statue of Liberty's torch, once open to visitors, has been closed ever since that explosion in 1916. Every tourist who visits her today walks beneath a reminder of that forgotten act of war. Most never realize it. Even now, historians still debate details. Who exactly lit the fuses, and how many saboteurs were involved? Some believe more bombs were planted than ever found. Others think secret agents escaped across the Atlantic, never to be caught. The truth, buried under decades of secrecy, remains partly hidden beneath the waters of the New Jersey harbor. The Black Tom explosion was more than a tragedy. It was a warning, one that history nearly forgot, a reminder that even in peacetime, the shadows of war can reach across oceans, and that the price of being unprepared can shake a nation to its core. So the next time you look at the Statue of Liberty, remember, she's not just a symbol of freedom, she's a survivor of an explosion that once rocked the very heart of America.